So today we're going to talk about the ability to add a unique ID, something like this, for example, directly to any text field. It's a random ID to any text field. I'm going to show you why I use it, but you can use it for literally anything. Just remember that a numeric string, like we see here in the square brackets there, A, and up here at B, a numeric string is very powerful when it comes to search engines. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a few examples real quick, and then we're going to go through and actually look at the code and how to set this thing up, and then how we're going to adjust and add the concatenate command as well. So stay tuned. So why do you want a unique ID? Now, maybe it's because of my days in the Army and they use the marks system. I'm not sure if they still use it today, but everything has a number in the Army, or at least it did when I was in. And it was actually very efficient. You could find things easily. Well, in today's world, with information coming at you from all different directions, being able to find information is the difference between somebody who is productive and somebody who is less productive. You know, on average, they say it takes 1.5 hours a day for people to find information. And the reason why is because it's coming at us way too fast and from multiple streams. Look, it would be nice if I could say we're going to work on a project together and I want you to use my task management program. You're not going to get a lot of cooperation, especially if you're trying to get cooperation from parties external to you. So you need to come up with some other way to collect information and still stay organized. And I have another video that I go through specifically how I do this with task management. But today I'm starting off with the task management example. In this example, I take and say, okay, I'm working on this task for Joe Snuffy, and I have a task name and I assign an ID. Any correspondence that I have related to that task, I automatically plug in the ID. Then when this ID or anything in a square bracket with numbers comes back into my email box, I can immediately key in on it. You can write automation to auto feed it back into the task, which I can go into in other videos. But more importantly, I can just key in on it knowing, hey, this is an email that I asked somebody related to a task. I can open my task manager and literally copy and paste data from the email message into my task, so I have one area to look at everything. So that's one example. Another area that works very well is to put that unique ID and associate it with your files. So for me, I have Outlook automatically take all of my attachments and drop them into a folder in OneDrive that I've renamed Attachments. Actually, I think it might even be a default. Attachments folder now is getting everything that comes into me as an attachment. So if I have an important file that may be associated with a task, instead of copying that into my task management program, I just simply slap the ID on the back of the file. Now, when I do a search, because remember, computers love numbers. You know, the whole 1 and 0 thing, they take it to heart. So they want to look for numbers much easier than finding a string of text. So the number, I type it in and boom, the information comes up. In fact, in most cases, when I'm looking for a task in my task manager, I just type the last 4 numbers and it gets me in the neighborhood. And then the last example I will show you for those of you that are creating, like this video, for example, content on the internet. This is a great way to find your nuggets of information in the ocean of the internet. Now here, for example, in all of my books that I write or anything, if somebody asks me, hey, what about how do I create a SharePoint list in columns? I can just simply refer them, just tell them, go to Google, search for lush square bracket and this number. You can try it if you like, and close square bracket. It will find the information immediately. So, and this is the top result that it found. Why? Because it's extremely unique. Nobody's going to have that, and it associates it with my name. So, easy stuff, right? And this is why we use a unique ID. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code and where we would put that code. First of all, we need to set up a variable to collect or create, I guess, the unique ID for us. So here I've called it var time and random, and then text now, the day, the month, the year, dot HHMM. So what that is that's the day, month, and year, and the clock, the 24-hour clock. So what it's going to do is every time that this screen opens, this screen that I'm on, which happens to be screen task new, right? So I've associated it right with this screen, the onVisible property, and here I've just typed in this word. So if you want to do this, this is the first thing you need to pause the video for. Pause the video, copy down this text. Okay, it's a pretty simple variable. All right. Once you do that, then we need to plug that text into our save action, where our save button is. And it's right here. So I'm associating that variable. Do you see it right there? Var time and random. I'm concatenating it with this text field that I'm collecting information, and this is just a space. So if you want to pause the video again and just write down this line right here, that's all you need to add inside of your patch that you're associating currently with your save button. Now, if you're like, what the heck is he talking about? Save button, patch, and screens. If you're asking that to yourself, go back and view my other videos on how to create a save button, how to save a note, how to save information to SharePoint, things like that. But if you're past that, this is the code that you need. So let's go ahead and take a look at it in real life. All right, so let's take this application right here, and let's say that this title right here, so let's shrink that down, this title field right here, we want to add that code. Okay, so we're going to go and I'm going to go through it real slow here. Okay, so here's the field right here, text title. Okay, and if I click on that field and I go down here to default, okay, it's going to give me nothing. Why? Because I'm not asking for anything in this default, right? this is a brand new record. I'm not really asking for anything, okay? So now I want to add whatever gets added to this, I want to add that variable. So I want to click on this save button right here, okay? And notice here that you have your patch again. So this is the patch that it's going through, and I just have two notes in here, this one and this one. But before we do that, I'm sorry, we need to go and we need to create the variable. So let's create the variable by going to Screen Edit. Now on Screen Edit, we need to just go up here to the top. Now remember, this Screen Edit right here, we can take that down like that, see? If we take that, that represents this screen that you're seeing right now, Screen Edit, okay? That's just what I named it. You could name it, like, see here, Screen Quote Maria, Screen 2, doesn't matter. Name it whatever you like. So what this means is when you go to onVisible here, what onVisible says is that every time, if I click here and then I click here, that's onVisible. So it automatically, whenever this screen is fired up, it automatically, whenever you see it, we can add something, some action to do that's associated with the screen. So let's just get this down, and we'll go back to this in a minute, but let's go down so we can see that code and type it together. Okay, so here's the code that we want to do. So we're just going to go to there, and we're just going to type in set, okay, with a parenthesis. Now notice there that it's asking you for the variable. We happen to name it var time and random. Now notice here that it's asking you for that as well, right here in variable. Okay, so we're good so far, right? So go ahead and pause the video if you need to and do this yourself. Now I'm going to hit comma. Okay, I'm right here and I'm right here. Now it's going to say, give me the value that you want to set this variable to so that when the screen is visible, on visible, it's all going to work. So I'm going to say, I want to set it to text. And now it's going to say, well, tell me what that value is. So I'm going to put in right here now, which means today. Okay. And then I'm going to put it in parentheses. And I'm going to dictate the format because I want it in a special way. All right. So then I'm going to put in ddmmyy.hhmm. Okay. And then I'm going to, whoops, I need square brackets in there. Okay. And then I'm going to put in a parenthesis. And then I'm going to put in one more. So the parenthesis here that I'm putting in is for this one right here. Do you see how it kind of blocks it in gray? So I need to close that one, but I still have one over here. I'm going to put in another parenthesis. Now I can put in this semicolon here, but I'm not going to put anything else on this right now. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so that was the first thing that we needed to do. Now we need to set the save button. So the save button is right there, I hope. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we're going to set the save button now. Now notice here that we have the title and the text. Notice here, I've just said, so title is the column name, all right? This is the SharePoint list name. This is the column name, title and notes. And then text title.text, this is the column name. And I've put some, if you put 2 backslashes there, you can write in here and it won't impact it. So I've gone ahead and done that to help you. Okay, so SharePoint list, column in the list. All right, so now we're going to concatenate this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say concatenate what is it? C-O-N-E-N-A-T-E. All right. So we're going to say concatenate. Now, just so you know, if I hit enter or tab here to accept this word, it's going to blow away this text. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to type it out for you so we don't have to remember things. Then I'm going to say, boom, I want to concatenate that title right there. So that all looks good. And then I want to put in a space. Okay, so that's my space, comma. And then I want to call the variable, which is that variable right there. Okay, the one that we created in just a few minutes ago. We're going to close the parenthesis and we're going to put a comma. Okay. Now what this is going to do is it's going to automatically take the title, whatever we put in the title field, and it's going to add to the back of it that variable that we created. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the screen again, and let's see and let this and run this and see what it does. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I want to test that variable to make sure it's working. So I'm going to close this, and notice it's right there. We put it where? On this screen. So let's go to that variable real quick. To test that variable, we just click on there and we type in var. Okay, and let's see if it comes up. There it is right there. Notice that it says blank. Okay, and if we click here and say view text, it'll still be blank. Okay, and we're going to cancel out. Now let's see when that variable actually populates. So remember, it's here on visible here. So let's go to another screen. And now let's go back. Now let's see if the variable's there. Global variables. Look at that. Now you can see right there underneath it says text, and in parentheses it says 010224.1853. That's the text that we've created from that variable. So the variable is working great. Good job. So you can play with this. This is kind of how you test it. But let's go back up right there, tree view. And let's see how this works in action. So let's go ahead and hit play. And we're going to hit ID test. Okay. And we'll put in here ID test. Oops. Test. Okay. And now we're just going to hit save to see what that looks like. So save changes. Now, look at that. ID test space the random number. And that's the date. Okay, so it's 1 minute off. Pretty cool, huh? It is pretty cool. So let me review that one last time with you. First of all, go to your screen on visible. Set your variable right here. We're defining this variable. Now I know in a lot of times you see the variable look like this. That's okay too. Or like this. Doesn't matter. Then go to the save button and add that. Oops. Yep, go to the save button and add that in to your save. All right, so we're going to go to that save button. Oh, we're on the wrong screen though for save. I was like, wait a minute. Got to go to that screen. And then you go to your save screen because this is what's creating it, right? And you want to put it in this concatenate right here. That's it. Good luck.